It's a beautiful Friday. Many people say March Madness, happy hour. That gets me excited. Or is it a meeting? Welcome again to another episode of the 1% in Recovery podcast, where we encourage you to laugh every day, to work hard in recovery, relationships, your job, business, school, just work. And to love unconditionally. Put much more love out there in the world and watch much more love return to you. We always say recovery is beautiful, your EQ is your IQ, and you cannot outthink an emotional issue. Encouraging people to do is go to the website, lifeiswonderful.love, L-O-V-E, download the free, I repeat, the free Recovery Growth Scorecard, where you have natural dopamine, serotonin, endorphins, oxytocin. That is how you heal the brain. That is how you get on the road to recovery. You change the neuroplasticity, you change the transmitters, and you move forward. Now, let's jump into this week's episode. It's March Madness, first weekend. Everybody kind of gets excited. All the games on Thursday, all the games on Friday. Right now it is a beautiful spring March Friday here in Houston. 75, 80 degrees, very little humidity, perfect. It's amazing how many people get excited about happy hour or they get excited about March Madness. So they're gonna get drunk or buzzed. They're gonna more than likely now lose money because the NCAA sold all their data to gambling companies, so the number is so much harder. Whether you're doing the game, whether you're doing prop betting, eventually you're doing in-game betting, live betting, you will lose in the long term. It's just gonna make it much more difficult. They're gonna make and use this data to make gambling even harder. Even another advantage to the house, to the book. So the question is do you like waking up on Saturday morning with your head kind of throbbing, with having less money than you did before all the games had started? I'm assuming no. My whole goal is to eat something healthy, have a great workout, wake up early, start my day. I have to go to a day of celebration tomorrow for a little boy who had passed in February. Sad event. But I'm there for others. And the whole idea is that is what people should get excited about. You should be excited about what you have going on Friday, on the weekend, not to escape your life and thinking that is fun. That is really the central question on why people struggle to start, because they see the alcohol, the weed, and the gambling as fun. You know, they're doing something cool instead of, is a meeting cool? Because every time I've ever met a newcomer who's been there for their first meeting or been going there for 1 or 2 weeks, you tell them something, it's always a blank stare. They are almost in some type of catatonic state because they're really depressed. They really don't know how they got there. So when they come to that first meeting, it's like, how did I get here? I am not this bad. That is always going through the addict's head. I am not this bad. I couldn't have drank this much. I couldn't have smoked this much. I couldn't have gambled this much. And the reality is, you did. You wouldn't have shown up to a 12-step meeting. You wouldn't have shown up to a therapist's office. There's always that give and take, that struggle on why I want to be there. I was no different. I remember the very first meeting I went to for gambling. It was during March Madness. It was during the Sweet 16. I gambled 3 games, the 2 early games before the meeting and 1 game that had started right as the meeting was ending. And I just thought, well, I got to at least gamble if I got to listen to a bunch of gamblers talk about recovery and not realizing that, well, maybe I could take a day off and listen and learn. But the problem is the addict always seems to know that they have an answer. You tell them to go to another meeting, they rebel. You tell them to work the steps, get a sponsor, read literature, they do none of that. Only until they struggle more and more, whether they're struggling with the husband or wife, whether they're struggling with the parents or their job, or they're trying to get a job, and then they start maybe trying to implement one or two things. Instead of in the beginning realizing, I'm giving you a free roadmap to get 1 week free of an addiction, to even get you up to those 30 days. Yet, almost every addict I know, including myself, does not listen, and then wonder why 30 days is so hard. I always tell people, what are your goals? People stare at me as though they don't know what I'm talking about. They're just like, well, I just don't want to gamble anymore. I don't want to drink anymore. That means nothing. First of all, you got to have a timetable. You got to just say, just don't drink today. Don't gamble today. Stop worrying about anymore, whatever that is. It's so vague. It's like saying, I want lots of money. Well, how much is lots of money? 100,000, $1 million, 10 million? Got to be clear on what it is you want. Love. What type of love do you want? How much sex do you want? How much do you want someone to hug you? You want someone to just be there? How does that love? What type of love language? All that stuff. Totally clueless. The addict has no clue. And I wish I had come upon a lot of the things that I've learned over 25 years, as well as also pushing Life is Wonderful, coming up with these fabulous products, whether it's the Strong Leader, Strong Character, whether it's the Recovery Freedom Circle, 18 weeks, all these questions. I give people questions for free. They still don't do anything. They won't answer the question is how honest are yourself to yourself and to others? Do you project who you truly are? People don't want to spend the time to answer simple questions. How do others see you? Are you truly honest with them? If I ask them, can you describe you to me? Would they be able to do that? Or are you holding something back? Do they truly know what is the most important? You know, what truly is your favorite flavor of ice cream, or your favorite sport, or what books really impacted you? You know, those things. Any relationships in the past that really moved the needle forward. You know, they don't want to learn. They don't want, people just want to stay stuck. And that is really the tricky part with recovery is how to get people to unstuck. And that's what I always say is to stop worrying about the gambling, stop worrying about the drinking, stop worrying about the drugs. Trying to get people even just like on simple things is like, okay, let's focus on character. Let's focus on goals. Let's just focus on today. What can you do today? Because to me, that's all that matters. What are you going to show up today? What are you going to tell yourself? I am loving. I am lovable. I am in recovery. I will have a strong day, an excellent day. I will have a great workout. I will work hard. All those wonderful things. That is truly what needs to be addressed on what you're telling your subconscious each and every day, as well as your calendar. If you're not putting on your calendar which meetings you're going to go to on this week, you're not going to be saying what I will be doing with my time. Because the problem is when you have a bunch of idle time, that's when you relapse. That's when you start feeling depressed. That's when you're feeling anxious. That's when someone says, hey, let's go drink, let's go gamble, let's do this. You see a gambling ad and off to the races. And you don't have this plan. I can tell my plan all the time. March Madness happy hour will be here. March Madness will be here for 3 weeks. Happy hours here every 52 weeks. The thing is what are you trying to do with your life? And the whole question idea is how do you feel? Do you feel really, truly strong and in peace? As you see behind me, the sun, these beautiful trees, I'm sitting in nature. I can already get into a serene state, a peaceful state. So where I'm not looking at my phone at the scores, which I always would do. And looking at, that first meeting, I came back from a meeting, ended up winning 2 games, then losing the game that I bet afterwards. But in the end, I kept betting and losing. And even though you win some, you lose some. That's always what the gamblers would say. In the end, I was just wasting time. I was never truly there for me because I was always looking and thinking about how some other outcome was going to affect me. If the team that I picked to win, somehow that was going to put a smile on my face or put a frown on my face. And that's no way to live. I should be in charge of what puts a frown on my face. I have a strong workout. I write in for my book. I'm around the people that I love. That is what really gets you to the other side. So trying to get people to not think about their escape and really focus on what you need to do, because that, when you can really then plan out a vacation, then go on vacation, when you can plan out a business and start making more money, when you can really get into those really deep conversations. And that's what people don't see in the beginning. Not only how wonderful meetings are, after the meeting, having a meal and talking with people in recovery, going home to family and that they're there for you. Man, life is wonderful. So with that, always check in with the lifeiswonderful.love website. Always check in with the podcast, the 1% Recovery. We are here to keep growing. With that, we'll see you next week.